Welcome back to paradise. Back to the beach. So I uploaded a little fun experiment yesterday, using the Sri Yantra, the box, putting the desires into the box, sending out the thought through the sound of Ah to be able to condense that into what you call matter. Doing a 10-day blitz, 5 ABC break processes per day. So I'm gonna take you to my morning here. This is something that you just get to do. You don't have to do this. You have the opportunity to assert some influence into your structure, into your day. You're not always on standby. Now you can be, because whenever you're in peace, you're at the resting position where receiving takes place. But imagine you rested all the time, you never went to the gym or you never did anything exciting, right? It's a balance. The universe is always striving to maintain perfect balance. So this balancing act is what we're after. Now this is gorgeous. So to me, this is the balance between activity and rest is where I'm at right now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to release all guilt, shame, and condemnation for each day. So I look into my own eyes. I intend to release any and all unforgiveness, guilt, and shame now. Safe touch. My hands go together. I mentally forgive anyone and anything that comes to mind. Forgive is to yield before truth, to let go, to let it go. Let God be the all in all. Nothing ever happened outside of God's will. Therefore, I should hold no condemnation. Otherwise, I condemn myself. Now, you can just say, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, ho'oponopono. Everyone and everything that comes up. And do it till you feel complete. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. It's not them, it's the carnal mind itself. To forgive someone is to separate them from the carnal mind, to see them only as God sees them, including yourself, and let the carnal mind be the impersonal nothingness that it is. Now I put my hands on my heart and I confess to any perceived wrongdoing. Okay, now cross your meridians, rub your shoulders. I love, accept, and forgive myself. Good. Now from 0 to 10, how much guilt and shame and condemnation? And a 1 for me. That's perfect. That's your repelling force. It's pushing away your good because you're condemning yourself. So you want to reduce that to 0 or 1, maybe 2. But it's got to be down. Now the next thing I got to do is I got to set myself into a vibrational reflection of God's fruits of the Spirit. So gratitude is the compilation of all of the fruits being expressed through the heart. And the closest thing to gratitude is joy. Because joy is the strength of the Lord, and joy means that your spirit is uplifted. Okay? So I'm going to do some joy, all right? I'm only at a 5 joy this morning, so that's exceptionally low. So I'm going to change that. So the first thing I do is I stand ready. All right, now I'm going to jump and do the process, okay? So, cut. Okay. So Matthew, it's your choice. Out of the heart come the issues of life. Do you want to stay at a 5 joy, or would you rather be at a 10? 10, okay? Now I'm going to coach myself. Matthew, everything is your attitude reflected back to you and personalized as the characterization of your own thought, feeling, and emotions. So what is it that you're going to demonstrate out of your heart now? Okay, now, as the sun comes down right here on my face, I go into the memory of the fullness of the most joy. So I was mentally playing the song in my head that I needed to hear. Okay, now I'm going to let that calibrate, and I'm going to walk into the world from that position of joy, made manifest as me. All right, now, as that calibrates, I'm going to prepare for my ABC break process. This will be number 2 for the day for me. So there's going to be 5 a day. So what I'm doing is I go down that list of desires that I put out. I mentally just think about them. And as I think about them, they will come into my experience. So it's neither good nor bad. So in essence, having these desires is not good or bad. Not having these desires is not good or bad. If I just leave them in the neutral position, then I can run them through the box and I can concrete materialize the havingness, because it's this. Remember, I'm not grasping, I'm just doing this mentally. And this position is where you can receive and hold. Okay, so first ABC break process for this transmission. Here we go. It is not it. Disconnect from your reasoning mind. Could I allow for just this moment things to be exactly as they are? Yes or no? Yes. Could I allow even more for just this moment things to be exactly as they are? Yes or no? Yes. Good. All right, now the most important part, I go to the place of peace. I come to the position of rest. Resting is receiving. Now, instead of using the left logical linear brain and going to the states of hell, anxiety states of consciousness, I shift the energy from the left side to the right side, and I go into the receivership. So I go out mentally, 5 years past already having received all of these desires, as if I'm looking back on it in appreciation. And I get into that ship, into that emotional state. That joy has got to pour through that picture and that image in my mind. Now here comes the daily insight. From this level of consciousness, what is it that I want to tell myself right now? Just be happy and trust that all is well facing thee. It is well facing thee. Now, that's my insight from having already received. So that's what I'm going to do. Trust that all is well from having already received. All is well. All is well. God knows I have need of these things. God has already provided. They're actually right here, right now. You could say they're in a parallel universe, and I could tell you that I'm aligning with that universe right now. I'm shifting in to having versus wanting. And once I have, it comes through me and expresses itself to me as me, the spiritual substance of all creation. There is only one life, power, presence, mind, and activity, and God's goodness is forever expressing itself right where I am. Little truth, there we go. Now I'm going to take those mental images and I'm going to run them from the base chakra up and out the third eye mentally, right through the Sri Yantra symbol that I showed. Now what I do is I do that 5 times a day. So I don't have to sit here for 15 minutes in one session. I can do it 5 times a day. So far, we've gone 12 minutes, and that's including all of this. I get this done in about 5 minutes each time. So I spend about 5 minutes a day, 5 times a day, putting myself into this alignment. Safe touch, self-entrainment technique, ABC break process, and I've added on the extra dimension of using the Noble Talisman in the box to make concrete the evidence of the thought into my physical world. All right, so that feels great. Now, the other thing too is activity, mobility. I really believe wholeheartedly that you have to exercise. You have to express motion. Everything in the universe is in motion. So if you sit on your butt all day and you don't move, then woe unto you. Unless you're disabled, you should move. You should challenge yourself. You should feel the pain that makes it grow, if you will, because that is the evidence of what you have asked for appearing. Okay, so let's talk about that idea. That's a theme, and we can talk about that idea. So when I go to the gym and it hurts, that's neither good nor bad. And when I am not making it hurt, that's neither good nor bad. So first of all, we don't ascribe any power to the phenomenal world of natural form. We want to remain in the I and the rest of the I in the super, means above, supernatural position. Keep all qualities, powers, and attributes in the supernatural position. Be in the world but not of it, so that your attitude is always this and never this. Grasping is scattering, resting is receiving. So while I'm in agitation and rest in the gym and I'm pushing really hard, because I want to express that dynamic activity, because it's a motion thing. It creates the energy in motion, it stirs the pot, and it dispels stagnant, stuck, places, because everything is thought. So as I move the body, and I move it vigorously, I'm consequently moving the mental framework vigorously. And so the way that I conjoin these two is I hold my position of having never left the the stillness while I'm engaging in the perfect activity that's challenging me, okay? You can do that. It's similar to when you could ask the question, you know, I did at the other day, I did 500 burpees. Well, the idea was that I did one burpee 500 times. And the other idea is that I was at rest the whole time with 500 slight agitations, which were nothing. And see, therefore, if the predominant aspect of my consciousness remains still, then I can exert and exert and exert and exert and exert and exert, because I'm being nourished by the spirit now and not the flesh. The flesh will run out. The flesh will dry up quick because it's a belief. It's a belief in limitation. And so to undo the belief in limitation, I have to go to the limitless potential. The potential is not the activity. The potential is the rest. Now, a lot of these things might sound like gobbledygook because it's a word salad. I get it. But however, when you apply it, it begins to make sense to you because it starts to demonstrate itself. The example is, how could you do 500 burpees? Well, I did one burpee 500 times. Now, I didn't time myself, and I didn't, try to do them consecutively without resting. In fact, I remained at rest the whole time with the ability to express that agitated state of activity 500 times, one at a time. One at a time. I can do one, and if I always come back to rest and I'm fulfilled by the Spirit every time, I can do another one, and 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 another one. Now I do the same thing today. I will do the 2,000 push-up day. Okay, so now I do try to do that within, under 2 hours for sure. And I do it casually and leisurely. I do it when I'm just flowing throughout my day. All right, so for instance, I'll be working on something, maybe something in the kitchen or somewhere, and I'll say, okay, here we go. Drop down, do another 50. Back to what I was doing. Okay, drop down, do another 50. Back to what I was doing. Drop down, do another 50. Back to what I was doing. Now, there's a method to the madness that I'm telling you here. I'm not just teaching you like, oh, this is how Matthew works out. No, I'm showing you that this is how you out-persist your enemy. Your enemy is always encapsulating itself in the form of ego limitations. How do you out-compete the limited beliefs of this world? In the same way that you would exercise this way. See, how you do anything is how you do everything. What is your limit? Well, some people say, well, I can only do 100 pull-ups and then, I'm done, I'm shot. So your mental framework is actually what is breaking your focus. And I'll apologize for the wind. I know it's going to be windy today, a little bit. I'm just going to let it ride. Good morning. So here's what happens. Because people compartmentalize their mental framework and they say, well, I've given myself 30 minutes to get this workout done today. And I can only get in 50 pull-ups, that's it, I'm done. And then they go focus on something else. Well, the idea is that wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. And the way to obtain something is to focus on it relentlessly. To pray without ceasing is to focus relentlessly on a singular laser beam, laser focus style approach. For instance, if you want to manifest $1 million and you haven't done that yet, then that has to be a laser beam focus for you. So, how it works is this. You have the concept of $1 million wherever you want it. You want it in your bank? Great. You want it in your crypto wallet? Great. You want it in gold bars? Great. Mentally have that framework. Now, the reason why the activities that I do every morning are super and they're phenomenally effective is because when I am repeatedly 5 times a day creating the repetition of sending that signal out, I'm aligning with it vibrationally. And then I add on the fact that I have unlimited time. I have unlimited time. I will continue to pump out, 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 and then I will qualify the feedback and measure and scale. So for instance, failure doesn't even matter to me. Failure is nothing. I've made it okay to fail, so therefore it's okay to succeed. So I will do an idea, and then I will measure the feedback. Did it work according to my plan? Somewhat. Okay, try a different approach. Did it work? Somewhat. Try a different approach. Did it work? Yes. Nailed it. Great, nail it and scale it. Now that I've nailed it, I found something that works, now scale it. That's no different than, okay, I did burpees and I did 10 of them and then I was tired. Okay, great. Well, that's not going to get me to 500, is it? So that approach doesn't work. Okay, I did 5 of them and I wasn't very tired. Huh, that worked. Okay, great. So what's the least amount of time that I have to rest between doing another 5 of them? Oh, 2 minutes. Awesome. Is that repeatable and scalable? Yep. So there you go. I do 5, rest. 5, rest. 5, rest. 5, rest. 5, rest. 5, rest. And then I get there. See, I have made my mental framework fit the model of what I am focusing on relentlessly. So back to the $1 million. You want $1 million? You must never doubt, which means I'm going to give you a simplified version of what doubt is. Everybody says, oh, I struggle with doubt. Oh, no, you struggle with the attention span of a goldfish because you don't believe. You don't believe that focus is everything because you've never put it to the test. And focus is everything. Doubt is when you break your focus, period, full stop. What broke your focus? That's where you doubted. Simple. It's so simple. You have to simplify these complex human idiocratic ideas. They're confusing you. Focus is everything. So, $1 million. I have $1 million. You come from that. Now, you set yourself into the joy, into the receivership of having it. Wouldn't you feel incredible joy if you had it? Of course. So you have to be there now. Now, don't you think you'd have to drop your guilt and shame and condemnation so you wouldn't sabotage yourself and push it away? Absolutely. Better have a way to do that. And don't you think you should be on the right side of the boat to catch the fish? In other words, don't you think that the answer is going to come from a place that is outside of your linear logical reasoning mind since you haven't gotten it yet? If you haven't gotten it yet, then how the heck is the mind that is pushing it away going to give it to you when it can't get it? So, here's the deal. ABC break 5 times a day allows you to get there. And then as those insights come, you act on those insights. Just like you did, like the example of the burpees, right? Okay, well I found that I could do 5, and then if I rest, I can do another 5, and then I found the perfect rest spot, and then I can do those consistently. And you know, I can tweak it as I go because I'm going to get better and better. That's great. See, I figured something out. Now, as you go to the right side and you get this new insight, you act upon it, And then you measure it. Did it work? Was it fruitful? Eventually, you're going to swing and you're going to hit it out of the park. It's just a probability amplitude in all time and space, and you're working with mathematical probabilities now. I might miss 9 out of 10 times, but the 10th time, I'm going to smack that thing out of the park. And when I do, I will capture the moment and I will dissect precisely what I did, and then I will scale it. You see, there is no such thing as failure. They have created this monstrosity of, oh, I'm such a failure, I doubt myself, I self-sabotage. No, unfortunately, what you're doing is you are allowing your focus to be broken. Okay, that's when you doubted. And you have then trusted in the wrong idea. We live in a universe of ideas. The only thing you're lacking is the right idea. That's it. The right idea solves the problem. And where do you get the right idea? From the right side of the brain. It's righteousness. What are you going to do to get there? ABC break process. ABC break process. ABC break process. ABC break process. 5 times a day. The structure is the message. 5 times a day is conditioning yourself to go to the right side. Whenever I'm stuck, I go to the right side. I go to the right side. The majority of everybody you know goes to the left side because they've been conditioned that way to live backwards. That's why they can't get anywhere. Because they remain stuck in their reasoning. And reasoning is of the devil. They say, well, what is the devil? It's the material consciousness. It's the carnal mind itself. That's how they got ensnared by the carnal mind. Please understand that if you do things the way I'm suggesting to you, you will solve the unsolvable riddles and you will become what they call an overnight success, and it will look like you're living under a lucky star, when in truth, there is nothing more than revealing the allness of all that is taking place by the undoing of your carnal resistance. See, if you change the way you look at something and you change your approach, then you get a different outcome, providing you're willing to do the activity. I've rinsed and repeat this the whole time. Now, what do you do in the interim? Well, that's great. That constitutes 5 minutes of my day, 5 times a day. Now what do? I don't know what to do. I just can't see how it's going to happen. Yes, your carnal mind is retarded, and it will come at you and try to make you doubt again. Okay? Is your focus broken already 5 seconds later? Have you already broke your focus? Well, I tried that thing and it didn't work. I went to the right side on the ABC break. I gave myself the intuition and it sure as heck didn't work. This is just like everything else. And I say, yes, you are one with stupid again, because the carnal mind has possession of you, and therefore you are one with stupid. Does a professional athlete take one slap shot to make the perfect reaction speed and time and hit the perfect shot every time, or one three-pointer, or one golf swing, or one football toss? Or do they do thousands and thousands and thousands of them to perfect their craft? What makes you think that you can be a professional if you don't do the same?